Welcome to Midnight Story. Take a slow breath in, and let it out. There is nothing you need to do right now. Nothing you need to remember. Just allow the story to arrive, the way sleep arrives, quietly. In the early years of aviation, when the sky still felt unfamiliar to humans, there was a belief that airplanes carried not only people, but echoes. Pilots used to say the sky remembered every flight, every fear, every unfinished goodbye. This story begins on a calm morning, so ordinary it would later feel unreal. It was June 1937. The air over the Pacific was smooth, pale blue, and patient. The kind of sky that doesn't warn you. Flight 739 sat on the runway, its silver body reflecting the sun like a mirror that hadn't yet learned how to break. Inside the cabin, there were no heroes. Just people. A young radio operator adjusting his headphones, humming softly. A nurse heading home after months overseas, pressing a photograph between her fingers. A businessman rehearsing a letter he might never send. And the pilot, Captain William Green, a man who trusted the sky because he had no choice but to. He had flown this route before. Hundreds had. The flight plan was clear. The weather was clear. The radios were clear. And yet, something was already wrong. Not visibly. Not loudly. Just a feeling. Captain Green felt it as he fastened his seatbelt. A strange hesitation in his hands. Like the air itself was holding its breath. At 10:14 a.m., Flight 739 lifted into the sky. No drama. No applause. Just engines humming, and gravity letting go. Families waved from below, not knowing that this would be the last moment history would see that aircraft whole. The flight climbed steadily. Clouds passed like slow thoughts. Inside the cockpit, the radio crackled gently. Flight 739, this is Coastal Control. Reading you clear. Reading you clear, Captain Green replied. That was the last confirmed transmission. Somewhere over the open Pacific, the plane vanished. Not crashed. Not exploded. Not found. It simply stopped existing to the world below. Radar lost it. Signals faded. Search crews were launched within hours. Ships crossed thousands of miles of ocean. Planes flew grid after grid. They found nothing. No wreckage. No oil. No bodies. Just water. Endless water. The world labeled it an accident. Filed it away as one of aviation's many mysteries. But the sky did not forget. Weeks later, something impossible happened. A radio operator in California was alone in his booth late at night. The kind of shift where time stretches, and silence feels heavy. He was tuning through frequencies when he heard it. A voice. Faint. Distorted. But human. Mayday, Mayday. He froze. The signal was weak, old-fashioned, and coming from a frequency no longer used. He leaned closer. Engine failure, cannot maintain altitude. The call sign that followed made his blood turn cold. Flight 739. Authorities dismissed it as interference. Old signals bouncing through atmospheric layers. A phenomenon known as radio echo. But the operator knew what echoes sounded like. This wasn't an echo. This was fear. Over the next several years, similar transmissions appeared. Always late at night. Always brief. Always fading. Pilots over the Pacific reported hearing voices on dead channels. Fragments of conversation. A man calmly reading altitude numbers. Another whispering a name, over and over, as if afraid to forget it. And always, the same call sign. Flight 739. One pilot, James Holloway, heard it clearer than anyone else. He was flying cargo between Hawaii and California when the signal cut through his headset. We are still here. Not panicked. Not urgent. Just tired. Holloway reported it immediately. Was told to rest. Was grounded for fatigue. But he never forgot the voice. Years passed. The world moved on. New planes. New wars. New skies. But Flight 739 refused to stay silent. Radio historians began collecting reports. Engineers tried to explain it away. But no theory could answer one question. Why were the messages changing? At first, they were distress calls. Later, they became conversations. Did you ever think we'd be gone this long? The fuel should have run out, the sun hasn't moved. Time, it seemed, was not passing normally where the plane was. In 1968, a deep-sea research vessel detected something unusual. A metallic echo, far below the ocean surface. Too intact to be debris. Too large to be natural. When they lowered a camera, the feed cut out. But not before capturing one image. An aircraft silhouette, suspended, not resting on the ocean floor, but floating above it. As if gravity had forgotten what to do. The footage was sealed, classified, buried, but rumors spread that Flight 739 hadn't crashed. It had slipped. Between moments. Between signals. Between now and then. The radio transmissions continued into the 1980s. Shorter now. Calmer. Less fear. We can see the ocean, it's beautiful, tell them we're not lost. And then, one final message. Recorded in 1989 by a satellite technician during a routine sweep. The signal was faint, but clear. Captain Green's voice. Older. Slower. To anyone listening, we are running out of sky. If you can hear this, remember us. We're ready to land. After that night, the signal stopped. Forever. No more voices. No more whispers. Just silence. Some say the plane finally fell. Some say it found another place to exist. But pilots still tell stories. Of instruments flickering over the Pacific. Of radios briefly lighting up, with no sound. Of feeling, for just a moment, like someone else is flying beside them. Maybe the sky does remember. Maybe some journeys don't end the way we expect. And maybe, somewhere between sleep and waking, Flight 739 is still descending, slowly, peacefully, finally coming home. Take another slow breath in, and let it go. The sky is quiet now. The signals have faded, and you are safe, right here, drifting gently into rest. Long after the signal stopped. Long after the world stopped listening. The ocean continued its quiet work. Waves rolled over invisible paths. Stars reflected on water that had never spoken the truth of what it held. In small coastal towns, old radio operators kept their equipment longer than necessary. They said it was habit. But really, it was hope. Hope that one night, through the static, someone would speak again. One such operator was Eleanor Finch. She had been young when Flight 739 disappeared. Too young to understand loss. But old enough to feel it. Her brother had been on that flight. A quiet man who wrote letters instead of making calls. A man who promised he would bring her a shell from the other side of the ocean. Eleanor never received the shell. But she never stopped listening. Every night, she sat alone in a small wooden room overlooking the sea. The radio lights cast soft shadows on the walls. The air smelled of salt and dust and time. She tuned slowly, patiently, not searching, just listening. On her 73rd birthday, when sleep came harder than it used to, the radio stirred, a low hum, a flicker. Eleanor leaned forward, her breath shallow. Hello. The voice was weak, barely there, but it was human. I'm listening, she whispered. The signal crackled. We never forgot you. Tears filled her eyes. She didn't ask who it was. She already knew. The sky kept us, longer than it should have. Eleanor placed her hand on the radio, as if touch could travel through air and time. I remember, she said softly. I remember all of you. For a moment, the static faded, and in that quiet space, she heard laughter. Gentle, distant, the sound of people who were no longer afraid. Then the signal dissolved, like breath on glass. The radio went dark, and Eleanor slept, peacefully, for the first time in years. After her passing, her journal was found beside the radio. Inside were only a few words. They are not lost. They are waiting. Historians would later debate whether Flight 739 was ever real in the way people believed. Some said it was a myth shaped by grief. Others said it was a warning about how little we understand the sky. But pilots believed something else. They believed the plane had slipped into a thin place. A place where time folded gently instead of breaking. Where minutes stretched into decades. Where fear softened into memory. They believed Flight 739 didn't crash. It drifted, and on clear nights, when the cockpit is quiet, and the stars feel unusually close, some pilots swear they see another set of lights far off in the distance. Not moving fast, not moving away, just keeping pace. A silent companion in the dark. If you ever find yourself awake late at night, listening to the hush between sounds, and you feel a strange calm settle over you, that might be the echo of a journey still finishing. A reminder that not all endings are loud. Some arrive gently, after a very long flight. Now let your breathing slow. In, and out. If you are new my channel, please subscribe and press bell icon. The sky is vast. The night is kind. Close your eyes. Sweet dreams. Good night.